Welcome, we are back, and this is going to be the last unit before the summary. I have some more good news to you, more surprises to you. You already know this is coming because you're looking into the unit. But right now we are covering chapter 13 through chapter 16. Now through chapter 13 through chapter 16, this is going to be the 8th principle in the science of getting rich. But this is my reasoning from combining these last 4 chapters. For one, chapter 13 is getting into the right business. I feel chapter 13, this chapter really sets the premise to opening up chapter 14. So I didn't want to separate the two. I think they combine very well. And chapter 14 is where we get into the 8th principle in the science of getting rich. Chapter 15 and 16 kind of tag along a little bit, but chapter 14, we're going to pull out brief information between those 2 chapters. But these chapters are only a few pages long, so it doesn't make sense to have separate units with all these chapters because they flow together very well. So, like always, if you have not reviewed and read chapter 13 through 16, pause this video, come back to this unit after you have reviewed and read chapter 13 through 16. Now at this point, if you're ready to move forward, let's continue with chapter 13. Chapter 13 is getting into the right business. And I love this chapter that sets up this premise to chapter 14. Success in any particular business depends upon your possessing, in a well-developed state, the faculties required in that business. The various faculties of your mind are the tools with which you must do the work that is to make you rich. It will be easier for you to succeed it. You get into the right business for which you are well equipped with mental tools. Generally speaking, and he kind of explains it. Generally speaking, you will do best in that business which you will use your strongest faculties, your strongest skills. That's what he's talking about. The one for which you are naturally best fitted. See, we all have just natural abilities. We all have things that we're just naturally good at. We're just naturally gifted at. That's what he's talking about. You're going to be best suited, best fitted for your natural abilities. And he says, you will get rich most easily if you do that for which you're best fitted. But you will get rich most satisfactory if you do that for which you want to do. So the two he's kind of twisting it a little bit. He said you will get rich most easily if you do what's best fitted to you by natural ability. But then he flips it. But then he says, but you will get rich most satisfactory. You will be the most happy if you do that for which you want to do. See, most of us, our job, our career, we want to have a job or career that we're passionate about. Sometimes not so much what we're naturally good at. That's what he's talking about. He's flipping it a little bit. And I love this quote. He says, desire is a manifestation of power. Desire manifests power. Then he flips around and he talks about the creative mind. And he tells us again, he reminds us, there is never any hurry on the creative plane, and there is no lack of opportunity. See, this is why we get competitive, because why? Because we think there's a lack of abundance. We think somebody's going to beat us to the prize. We think someone's going to beat us to the top. He says, there is never any hurry on the creative plane, and there is no lack of opportunity. See, it's only in our mind. There's no lack of opportunity. Abundance is for all. That's what he's saying. When you get out the competitive mind, you will understand that you will never need to act hastily. No one else is going to beat you to the thing that you want to do. There is enough for all. And if one place is taken, another and a better one will be open for you and little further on. So he's saying if one place is taken, so let's say you want a house of your dreams. If one is taken, a bigger and better would be offered to you a little bit further down the road. There is plenty of time, and he warns us, when you're in doubt, wait. Fall back on the contemplation of your vision and increase your faith, belief, and purpose. And by all means, in times of doubt and indecision, cultivate gratitude. This is a great secret right here. He says, at all times, when you fall into indecision, when you fall into doubt, when you fall into fear, what does he remind us to do? He says, cultivate gratitude. Start thinking that you're living your dream. Start thinking you have your desires, your passions, your goals in your life. Be grateful. That's how you twist it around and beat it. See, that's your weapon. Anytime you have doubt, anytime you have fear, anytime you have decision, he says, cultivate gratitude. A day or two spent contemplating the vision of what you want and an earnest thanksgiving that you're getting it will bring your mind into such close relationship with the infinite that you will make no mistake when you do act. Wow. You will make no mistake when you do act. There is a mind which knows all there is to know. Listen, there is a mind which knows all there is to know. And if you have deep gratitude, you can come into close unity with this mind by faith, belief, and purpose to advance your own life. You see, at this point, and I've been bringing this up all the way through this course, it doesn't matter what you believe. If you believe in God, if you believe laws of the universe, you believe there's a higher power somewhere out there, you just don't know what it is. This is what he says. There is a mind which knows all there is to know. And if you have deep gratitude, you can come into close unity with this mind by faith, belief, and purpose to advance in life, to advance your life, to get what you want. Do all that can be done in a perfect manner every day. Remember this? An action, principle number 7. Do all that can be done in a perfect manner every day, but do it without haste, worry, or fear. Listen, he says, do everything you can do every day. Take action. But he reminds us, do it without haste, do it without worry, do it without fear. Go as fast as you can, but never hurry. See, we rush through life. That's what he's talking about. He says, go as fast as you can, but be calm. Go as fast as you can, but don't hurry. It's about speed up, but remain calm. It's about go as fast as you can, but remain calm. See, we're doing the opposite. We're trying to go as fast as we can, but we're hurrying through life. We're rushing through life. He says, remain calm, but speed up. Hurry. Whenever you find yourself hurrying, stop. Listen, whenever you find yourself hurrying, stop. Fix your attention upon the mental image of the thing that you want and begin to give thanks that you're getting it. Listen, he's blending in gratitude again. He says, whenever you find yourself hurrying, stop. Fix your attention on the mental image of the thing that you want and begin to form gratitude. Begin to give thanks on the thing that you want. This exercise of gratitude would never fail to strengthen your faith, belief, and renew your purpose. See, I do this because, you fall in traps. It's all about being aware. Chapter 14. We're on chapter 14 already. Chapter 14 is the impression of increase. And he starts right off. Whether you change your vacation or not, he's talking about business. Whether you change your vacation or not, you must direct your present actions to the business in which you are presently engaged. You must direct your present actions to the business in which you are presently engaged. You can get into the business you want by making the constructive use of the business you are already established in. Listen to this. You can get into the business that you want, the career that you want, by making constructive use of the business you're already in, or already established in, by doing your daily work in a certain way. The key thought of all your efforts must be to convey to their mind the impression of increase. Listen to this, and I'll read the whole paragraph for you. And insofar as your business consists in dealing with other people, whether directly, by telephone, or by letter, remember, this is 100 years old. He says, the key thought of all your efforts must be to convey to their mind the impression of increase. See, what he's really saying, no matter who I'm around, no matter what my business offers, no matter if my job right now isn't what I really want, it's always to convey the impression of increase. When somebody's around me, when they walk away, it's giving them the impression of increase. And this, my friends, is the last principle. And principle number 8 is what? The impression of increase. You see the example I just gave you? Most people fall into the trap. And I'm going to give you a good example. But this is something I struggle with too. See, when we're doing something that we don't necessarily love, we're doing something that we'd rather be doing something else. Like when somebody comes up and asks us how our day is going, or if we like it, we go into what? We go into like a negative mode, or we go into like, oh my God, this is going on, that's going on. See, we falter because we're not giving an impression of increase. When they walk away, they could come to us and be so excited and positive, but then they walk away, what happens? They walk away with a piece of us. They walk away, if we gave them a negative thought and negative attitude, they walk away. We brought down their level of vibration. See, the secret is the impression of increase. When we're dealing with people in business and personal life, it's always give them, always remember, always give them the impression of increase. And he continues, people instinctively know this, and hence they are forever seeking more. This law, remember in the very beginning, he gave us like 7 basic laws of the universe. And he says this law of perpetual increase is set forth by Jesus in the parable of talents. He's bringing up again the Bible, Jesus, the universal laws. He says, only those who gain more retain more. Listen, only those who gain more retain more. And he quotes this from the Bible. From him who hath not shall be taken away even that which he has. I read it again. From him who has not shall be taken away even that which he has. He says the normal desire for increased wealth is not an evil. It is simply the desire for more abundant life. That's all it is. It's simply a desire for a more abundant life. See, what you want, your dreams, your goals, your desires in life, is because you want to have an abundant life. And because it is the deepest instinct of their natures, all men and women are attracted to an individual who can give them more of that means of life. Listen, all men and women are attracted to an individual who can give them more of the means of life. What's that mean? The impression of increase. See, all men and women are attracted to people that can give them more of the means of life they are seeking. The following in a certain way, as described in the foregoing pages, are getting continuous increase for yourself, and you are giving it all with whom you deal. You are the creative center from which increase is giving at all times. And he continues, he says, put into action the thought of increase and make sure that the customer is impressed with the thought. See, now he's starting to tie in what I was saying. Always give people the impression of increase. When they leave you, they go home or whatever, they're in your business, always give them the impression of increase. And he continues, and this is kind of a deeper thought. He says, feel that you're getting rich. Feel that you're getting rich. Feel that your dreams are coming true. Feel you have your goals, your desires, your passions in life. Feel you're getting rich. Feel you live a rich life. And that, in doing so, you are making others rich. Listen to this. You are making others rich because you're giving them the impression of increase. That you are conferring benefits of all. See, listen to this. This is kind of, you know, some people might have a hard time understanding this. But let me put it in the simplest way. You ever gone to work, maybe you go to a party, you're somewhere where there's lots of people, you don't know everybody there. But somebody comes up to you, they're talking to you, or maybe they're not even talking to you, you're viewing them from far away. But you can tell their positivity, they're positive, they're upbeat, they're smiling, they're happy. See, that vibrant energy is attractive. You want to gradually move towards them. That's what he's talking about. Then that simplest example I gave you, we've all experienced that. We've all been somewhere where somebody is just vibrating with energy. They're excited. They're happy. You could tell you want to be around that person. Then on the flip side, we've all been to places. That same vibration is happening, but it's going in reverse. They're negative. The negative Nancy. They're complaining about everything. The only people they attract to themselves is other negative people. See, if you're trying to stay positive, what's happening? You're trying to stay away from them. But you can feel that energy. See, that's what he's talking about. Then he continues, he says, do not boast or brag of your success or talk about it unnecessarily. True faith, true belief is never boastful. You must so impress others that they will feel that in associating with you, that they will get increase for themselves. Listen to this. The impression of increase is within you. Listen, this is profound. You must so impress others that they will feel, listen, they will feel that in associating with you, they will get increase for themselves. See that you give them a use value greater than the cash value you are taking from them. He flips it again. Give them more which they expect. Even if it's not a job, it's not a product, it's not a service, even if they just meet you, give them more than what they expect. If you always take an honest pride in doing this and let everybody know it, you will always have customers. Listen, if you always take an honest pride in doing this and let everybody know it, you will always have customers. People will go where they're given increase. Listen, people will go where they're giving increase. People will go where they feel better about themselves. People will go where you make them feel good. And I'll read this whole paragraph because I want to give you a snippet of it. He says, you will always take an honest pride in doing this and let everybody know it. You will always have customers. People will go where they are given increase. And the supreme power which desires increase in everything and which knows everything will move you toward men and women who have never heard of you. Your business will increase rapidly and you will be surprised at the unexpected benefits which will come to you. You will be able to make larger combinations to secure greater advantages and to go on into a more congenial vacation if you desire to do so. The mind that seeks for mastery over others is the competitive mind. Listen to this. He warns us. He says the mind that seeks for mastery over others is the competitive mind. And the competitive mind is not the creative one. In order to master your environment and your destiny, it is not at all necessary that you should rule over your fellows, to rule over people, to rule over man or woman. And indeed, when you fall into the world's struggle for high places, you begin to be conquered by fate and environment, and getting rich becomes a matter of chance and speculation. He continues. He says, be aware of the competitive mind. Be aware of the competitive mind inside you. No better statement for the principle of the creation of action can be formulated than the favorite declaration of the late Golden Rule Jones. What I want for myself, I want for everybody. Listen to this. What I want for myself, I want for everybody. I'm going to end this chapter with this. What I want for myself, I want for everybody. Principle number 8, the impression of increase. What I want for myself, I want for everybody. We're moving on to chapter 15, and chapter 15 is the advancing person. It's a little bit of a continuation of the impression of increase. In this chapter, I'm moving straight ahead a couple pages. He says, to secure advancement, something more is necessary than to be too large for your place. Listen to this. To secure advancement, something more is necessary than to be too large for your place. It is certain you will advance when you are too big for your place and you have a clear concept of what you want to be. Listen to this. What he's basically saying, you're outgrowing your environment. If you want to be in a better environment, well, outgrow the environment you're in to push you towards the better environment. If you want a better job, well, outgrow the job that you're in. Makes sense? The mistake that we make, we want a better environment, but we're not doing anything. We're not taking action. We're not growing ourselves in personal development or personal achievement. We're now outgrowing the place that we're in. That's the power statement. He says to secure advancement, something more is necessary than to be too large for your place. It is certain you will advance when you are too big for your place and you have a clear concept of what you want to be. It's twofold. You have to be too big for your environment, too big for your place, but you have to have a clear vision, a clear concept of what you want to be, where you are going. There is a power which never fails to present opportunity to the advancing person who is moving in obedience to the law. Remember, it's about moving in harmony with the law. The example of that is, would you rather move with the tide or against the tide? See, most of us in life, we're always moving against the tide rather than moving with the tide. He says, there is power for which never fails to present opportunity to the advancing person who is obedient to the law, who is using the laws in harmony. I want to bring this up. I'm kind of flying through these chapters. I'm only picking out a couple certain passages, but read these chapters. Just because I'm not pulling out what's important to you, it doesn't mean it's not important. I'm just pulling out what's really I feel you should focus on, but really dig into these chapters, because something might convey to you that you're doing. That it's really dominating in you to really focus on it. Do it. Follow that intuition. Just because I didn't bring it up here doesn't mean it's not important. Chapter 16, he gives us some warnings. It's called Some Cautions and Concluding Observations. And some of these we've already been through, and this is why I'm throwing this chapter in this lesson. I'm not going to go through all the warnings, but he says, guard your speech. Never speak of yourself, your affairs, or anything else in a discouraged or discouraging way. Listen to this. You may have an issue with this. Listen, guard your speech. See, that's why we've always heard in the Bible and religious texts, the Quran, Muhammad, they all say the same thing. Guard your speech. Guard your thoughts. Guard what you say. It's in every religious text. He says, guard your speech. Never speak of yourself, your affairs, or anything else in a discouraged or discouraging way. Never admit the possibility of failure or speak in it in a way that implies failure as a possibility. See, and I'll be honest with you right here. One of the main areas I have to work on, I continually have to study, continually do it, is I like to analyze things. I overanalyze. I think and think and think. That's what makes me good at doing what I do. Like in health, that's why I know so much. I'm applying it to my life. But see, overanalyzing, sometimes I can get up and I'm just running through things in your mind. Then you get onto a negative plane a little bit and you start, for a moment, you start going over what you don't like on that one. You start kind of almost complaining out loud, almost talking to yourself. You're just running through that stuff. He says this, guard your speech. Never speak of yourself or your affairs or anything else in a discouraged or discouraging way. No matter what you think you're doing, no matter how you make an excuse for it, it's damaging to you. Never admit the possibility of failure or speak in a way that implies failure as a possibility. He says, never speak in a way that implies failure or even a hint of the possibility of failure. Never speak of the times as being hard or of business conditions as being doubtful. Times may be hard and business doubtful, but those who are on the competitive plane, that's what he's saying. It's only those on a competitive plane that are constantly complaining it's hard and doubtful. But they can never be so far for you. It can never be so far for you because you're working on what? You're working on a creative plane. And he says you can create what you want and you are above fear. Listen to this. This is powerful. You can create what you want. The science of getting rich, that's what it is. You can create and have what you want. And you are above fear. When others are having hard times and poor business, you will find yourself the greatest opportunities. He says, train yourself to think of and to look upon the world of something which is becoming, which is growing, and to regard seeming evil as being only that which is undeveloped. He says, powerful, always speak in terms of advancement. Always speak in terms of advancement. To do otherwise is to deny your faith, deny your belief, and to deny your faith and belief is to lose it. See, if you deny, you say things in a certain way, you complain things in a certain way, but really what you're doing, you're denying your faith, you're denying your belief that you can achieve your dreams, that you can achieve your passions, desires, and goals in life. He says, always speak in terms of advancement. Watch your speech. Be aware when someone asks you what you're doing, what you like to do, what you're going to go, be aware of what you really say, because out of habit will come out of your mouth exactly the opposite. He says, always speak in terms of advancement. To do otherwise is to deny your faith, and to deny your faith is to lose it. Never allow yourself to feel disappointed. Listen, never allow yourself to feel disappointed. You may expect to have a certain thing at a certain time and not get it at that time. See, this is the biggest question. I want this, I set a date, I didn't get it. But he says, this will seem to be a failure, but if you hold to your faith, if you hold to your belief, you will find that the failure is only apparent. It's only temporary. Because we don't know. See, we don't know the incubation period. Nobody can tell you the incubation period. Nobody can tell you exactly when you're going to achieve or manifest your dreams, desires, and goals in your life. But he says, even if you didn't get it, when you set a date to get it, or at the time you think you're going to get it, it's not a failure. He says, go on in a certain way. And if you do not receive that thing, you will receive something so much better. Listen. Go on in a certain way, and if you do not receive that thing, you will receive something so much better that you will see the seeming failure as a prelude to a great success. Wow. See, this is him. Always speak in terms of advancement. Always look at advancement in your life, what you're achieving. He says, when you make a failure, it is because you have not asked enough. Listen, wow, if you make a failure, it's because you have not asked enough. See, most of the times when we set a goal, we're only seeing what we visibly think we can achieve. Most of the time, that's very minimum. We're only looking at what I minimum need to make this month, what I minimum need to set my goal for. He says, when you make a failure, it is because you have not asked enough. Keep on, and a larger thing than you were seeking will certainly come to you. Remember this. You will not fail because you lack the necessary talent to do what you wish to do. If you go on as I have directed, you will develop all the talent that is necessary for doing your work. He's basically saying, if you do what I say, if you follow and master all these principles, you can have anything that you want. And in ending this chapter, he gives some more homework. And really, his homework is the same homework when he gives homework. He says, study this book. Make it your constant companion until you have mastered all the ideas contained in it. See, it's about mastery. All the 8 principles that we pulled out, they all follow each other, and they're all intertwined with each other. It's about mastery. While you are getting familiar, while you are getting firmly established in your faith and your belief, you will do well to give up most recreations and pleasures and to stay away from places where conflicting ideas are advanced in lectures or sermons. Do not read pessimistic or conflicting literature. Listen to this. Do not read pessimistic or conflicting literature. See, this is a thing. This is the thing even with our younger generations as they get up in middle school and high school. See, they think all this media, all this negative media, the pessimistic media, people think it doesn't cause anything. But hearing all these pessimistic views, these negative views, it hinders us. This is what he's saying. Do not read pessimistic or conflicting literature. Do not watch pessimistic or conflicting literature. Spend most of your leisure time in contemplating your vision. Listen, spend most of your leisure time thinking about what you want and cultivating gratitude and reading this book. Be thankful. It contains all you need to know of the science of getting rich, and you will find all the essentials summed up in the following chapter. Listen to this. You will find all the essentials summed up in the following chapter. Now, the following chapter is the summary, and we'll close out this course. I will see you in the last unit, and the last unit is a summary of the science of getting rich.